The town and homesteads of Whitehawk are located in the northwestern area of Stormhaven, the south-central region of High Rock. To the south lies the capital city of Wayrest, home of High King Emeric, leader of the Daggerfall Covenant. Our tour of Whitehawk and its environs begins at the Alcaire Castle Way Shrine, so named for the long-ago military architect of the keep at the heart of Fort Whitehawk, home to the band of the Hawk Mercenaries. To the north of the Alcaire Way Shrine, and east of Fort Whitehawk, lies the foreboding gates to the region of Rivenspire, home to one of the headquarters of the Mages Guild. Up a long flight of stone stairs on the eastern side of the gates is a watchtower and lookout forbidden to those without approved access. Please be aware that anyone caught in this area without proper accreditation will be dealt with harshly. The Rivenspire Gate itself is also restricted, and only those with permission to pass through will be allowed to cross the threshold. We urge you not to press the guards at the gate, as they are contracted directly under the authority of the Mages Guild. We cannot save you from their wrath, should you provoke them. Up the stairs to the west of the Rivenspire Gate, a cautious adventurer can find one of Tamriel's famous magical sky shards. There is also an old, broken tower, guarded by an adversary perhaps even more dangerous than the guards below. While some of the hawks enjoy hunting the giant spiders who reside here, most of them are wise enough to leave them alone. Down the south road from the Rivenspire Gates, we once again pass the Alcaire Castle Way Shrine to the west. On the eastern side of the road, the outskirts of Fort Whitehawk briefly come into view. For now, however, we continue on to the south. Resident mercenaries of the Band of the Hawk, backed up by the strong ranks of the city guard under Lord Aaron Wyeth, patrol the area around Whitehawk regularly. All of the Home Guard are ranked Knights of the Flame, so it is wise to treat them with the respect they deserve. Off to the west of the main road, and southeast of the Alcaire Way Shrine, is a narrow path that leads to a large cavern known as Windridge Cave. Some say the entrance is guarded by a ghost, and even more restless spirits reside within. The landscape around Whitehawke is dotted with old and new ruins alike. Many battles have scarred the area in centuries past, and new incursions by bandits and Daedric forces have also left their mark. The former Windridge warehouse, located just south from Fort Whitehawke, was recently taken over by master blacksmith Bodak Ashzu Grozul and converted into a large forge. The forge also serves as a training school for his apprentices, many of whom grew up in the Whitehawke orphanage. The forge provides tools and needed items to the local population, as well as weapons and armor for the Band of the Hawk and city guards. On the southern edge of Whitehawke territory, a road to the east leads to Firebrand Keep, home to a garrison of the Daggerfall Covenant army. To the east of Firebrand Keep and south of Fort Whitehawke, a stone bridge and lumber mill marks the southwestern edge of the area under the protection of the Band of the Hawk. On the south side of the bridge, the lumber mill can be seen quietly churning the waters of the river. But don't let the peaceful scene fool you. Bandits and Daedric attacks have happened here. To the north of the bridge is a large fishing hole, sometimes wistfully referred to as Lake Whitehawke. Moving on to the east, the large homesteads and farms of Whitehawke come into view. Van Farm is one of the largest and provides both food crops and animals in supply to Fort Whitehawke, the Band of the Hawk, and local citizens. Sadly, recent attacks by Daedric forces have been especially harsh on the homesteads of Whitehawke, as they are not protected by the high, strong wall of the keep. Animals have been slaughtered, crops have been damaged, and some of the residents have been injured, although luckily none have been killed. Mercenary patrols have been increased, and full-time guards placed in as many locations as possible. On the road to the southeast of Fort Whitehawke, Coghlan Village serves as the nearest port and trade hub for Whitehawke territory. Although not under the administration of the Band of the Hawk, the village enjoys a measure of extra protection, courtesy of the mercenaries often passing through and doing business within its borders. The most recent Daedric attack resulted in severe damage to Nurin Farm, one of the largest homesteads in Whitehawke and an important supplier of grain and dairy to the local citizens. Even more distressing, however, was the complete destruction of the new Whitehawke orphanage on the outskirts of Nuren Farm, moved several years ago outside of the main town to provide space for more orphans in this time of war and strife. The orphanage and school were ravaged by fire. Luckily, all of the children and staff managed to escape with their lives. To the east of the orphanage ruins and below the south wall of Fort Whitehawke, many of the Red Guard members of the Band of the Hawk mercenaries have established their own independent camp. They prefer to live outside the constraints of city walls and serve as the first line of defense for the town. Trading caravans also frequent the open areas outside the town walls, and young mercenary and guard recruits frequently engage in mock skirmishes and training here as well. General Thoda, liaison to the Band of the Hawk on behalf of the Daggerfall Covenant Military Command, maintains an office outside of the town walls adjacent to the Red Guard camp. The supply office of the Band of the Hawk mercenaries can also be found nearby, overseen by Sergeant Carden. Let us now drop off our mounts at the guest stables and grab a bit of refreshment before we continue on with our tour of Fort Whitehawke itself.